Hey, see, we got one on. This is J-RodTV. Just a Thursday night chat, little Q&A. I got my computer up so I can kind of keep up with what's going on. And so, if you've got a question about the 85 C10 behind me here, just shoot it to me. It's Mississippi and it's hot, so I got my fans on me and I'm wiping my sweat, all that good stuff. So, we'll get started with some questions here in a minute. Hey everybody, this is J-RodTV. I'm Jared. This is my 85 C10. This is the home of the poor man's hot rod, and so I'm kind of a small channel trying to grow a little bit and just trying to get to a point where, you know, might make something of this. So if you're interested in C10s or have any questions about my patina truck, I would be glad to, I'd be glad to answer those questions for you. A little bit about myself. I'm, like I said, I'm Jared, and I'm a pastor full time, Southern Baptist pastor, and then I do this as a hobby and just enjoy it. So I've been working on this truck for quite a while. Got lots of different content. You can go check it out. Would love some subscribes and likes and comments. I'd love to see some comments coming in. I'm trying to get my settings right where I can see everything when it comes through. I don't know that I'm seeing everything, so give me just a second. I'm still kind of new at this, trying to figure it out. Somebody throw a comment in there and let me make sure I'm getting something that's coming through. All right, I see it. Appreciate that. It's good to meet you too, Charlie. So, like I said, if you got any questions about the 85 C10, I've been working on this. I've had it about 8 years, and slow progress. The whole theme of my channel is the poor man's hot rod, so that means that I got to work on a budget and like do to-do list and work on small projects. Just did the outside, finished all of that. Did all of the inside about I don't know. I guess last year or year before, repainted. It was about 3 years process where I repainted the inside. Originally, this truck was maroon on the inside, and so painted it orange and did all tan interior and everything. And so a lot of different things. Redid all the lights and everything on the outside, and then patinaed the outside. So lots of different stuff on the truck's been worked on. It's got a new engine in it. Changed the transmission. Did all of that right here in this kind of open garage. Part of being a poor man's hot rod is, you just have to use what you got and do it where you've got it. So I've just got this open carport. A lot of the stuff that happens happens in the driveway or in here, and that's about it. So no, this truck's not for sale, man. Hey Emmett, good to see you. Glad you're tuning in. If you want to, you guys can like and subscribe. Would really appreciate y'all checking out some other content if you're not familiar with me. I was hoping to get some of my core group to get in and talk to me a little bit. At some point, I guess, you asked about the truck for sale. Right now, it's not for sale. I'm just working on it and trying to get it to where it needs to be. I've got I'm going to rebuild all of the front end stuff. I've got all the parts for that, and that's coming up. That's kind of the next big thing. Been doing some editing. I got a video that's going to come out probably tomorrow or the next day. It's about some upgrades on the interior that I did. Uh, I've been slowly working on all those things. So um, just trying to get it, just trying to get it all done, you know. So I'm just going to hang out and do some Q&A. So if you have any questions about what engine it's got, what the cam it is, any of that kind of stuff, all of that's in my channel. You can go check it out. I got over 100 videos posted, shorts and long form. And like I said, I got a new one coming out probably tomorrow or the next day. So I'm a little bit behind. I've been doing some other stuff, trying to get caught up. You know, this isn't my full-time gig by any means. It's just a hobby, and just try to, you know, just try to do some things. So also like to try to share about my faith in the process, and so it's one of those things that being a pastor, I see how Christ works in our lives on a daily basis, and you don't have to be a pastor to see that. If you just open your eyes and just kind of see what God's doing and it's beautiful creation, all those things, you know, there's some wonderful stuff. Y'all got any questions for me? Or you just want to chat? I'll answer some Bible questions if there's anything I can help with. You know, I'll talk about life, whatever. When you're watching stuff on the, I've got the live up on over here, and then when I'm watching my computer, it's a little bit delayed. So if I don't see a comment right away, I will see it when it comes up. If y'all want a little walk around the truck, I'll be glad to do that too. Just let me know if you want to see something in more detail. The outside looks kind of rough. It's got all the, you can see all the scratches and whatnot, but it's been clear coated with Vice Grip Garage Gloss Clear, and which Poppy's Patina makes. You can go to their website and even buy it there. But the inside, like I said, has been completely redone. I just got a seat for it redone. I'm going to have a video about that coming out in the next week or so. And then got some other things coming. Make sure I'm not missing a comment. So what are y'all up to tonight? What's your favorite classic car? What's something that you've been working on? What projects are you doing? What's going on with y'all? Y'all know anything about doing lives and streaming? I don't know who's on or who's watching, but what are you up to tonight? What part of the world are you from? It's 9 o'clock my time, so it's just one of those things that kind of quiet out here. You might can hear the bugs making a bunch of racket. Anybody on here got a square body Chevy? Hey, Seven Fisher. Good to see you tonight. What you up to? Doing anything fun? Again, I'm J-RodTV, home of the poor man's hot rod, and you see my 85 C10 back here. Been a lot of work done on it, and slowly getting it there. Trying to do a little bit along on a budget. Uh, like I said, I'm just a normal guy like everybody else. I do all my work right out here in this open garage and in the driveway. So, yes. Snap on DeWalt or Milwaukee. What are you going with? I hear you. So, right now, most of my tools, I'm old school. I'm 50 years old. So, most of my stuff is Craftsman back when it was still made in the USA. I've got a little, I got just very little snap on. For stuff I don't use a whole lot, I might buy some Harbor Freight. I use DeWalt drill, impact and drill. And I know a lot of people love the Milwaukees, and they're a little more expensive. But, I'm not a professional. I'm just an everyday guy. So I like all those tools. It's just out of my budget range. So, like I said, this is the home of the poor man's hot rod. So I do the best I can. Now, my father-in-law, he's a motorcycle mechanic and did that for years till he retired. So he's a snap-on guy, like all the way, and he's got everything you could ever want. But that's not me. I use just everyday tools, like most people have in their toolboxes. But it's an accumulation of I guess about 32 years of just buying a little bit along, that kind of stuff. And if I need something that's going to be used a lot, I'll buy something really nice. If it's just something I'm going to use once or twice, then I'll go buy something cheap to get by. But try to do the best I can. I don't know how to say your name there, T, but appreciate the question on the snap-on DeWalt, Milwaukee, etc. Some people like the Matco stuff and Mac tools and all that. I don't have any of that. I've got some other oddball things, but none of those things. What do y'all use? Got lots of content over there on my channel if you want to check it out later on. Give me a like, subscribe. I'm at 247 on my subs, and I'm trying to get to 500 just so I can start doing some other stuff. I hope in the near future I'm building some cup holders that are custom made for the square bodies, and I got one in this truck that's painted to match, and it goes on the seat, and I'll show you a picture if you're interested. So it goes on the front, kind of right there, just below the top of the seat. Mounts from the bottom. I'll show you another picture. Depending on which year truck you've got, it'll mount two different ways. But I like it because it's not like some of those that go in the ashtray. They or the kind that just sit in the seat, because you can still fold your seat forward. And if somebody wants to sit in the middle, you can see that's my wife sitting in there. But The cup holder is actually under her leg, so it's out of the way enough that if you need to sit there, you can. But it works good. And like my wife always has one of those big Yeti cups or Stanley cups, and so if she sticks it in there, no problems. It's all good, no issues. I keep refreshing on my computer to make sure I'm not missing anything. So, top 5 cars that you would love to have. For me, a 1970 Challenger. You be thinking about it, and you tell me in comments what you would use, what you would want. 1970 Challenger. I always loved, anywhere from 68 to 72 Chevelles are wonderful. 32 Fords. I mean, how can you go wrong? A hot rod Ford. That would be a lot of fun. And I always like the Tri-5s. I don't know what it is. I mean, a lot of people like the 57s. I do. Probably my favorite would be a 55, and that's not just because I like two-lane blacktop or anything like that. It's just I just like that oval front grill as opposed to wraparound grills and stuff like the 57, 56 have. So I used to have different vehicles over time. I've owned several different vehicles, but never more than one at a time. And when I had kids and got married and all that stuff, uh, being able to do work on things and have money to work on things was slim. So I have a whole video about kind of my gearhead origin story, and it just talks about the different vehicles I had, in high school, stuff like that. I had back when I drove uh, to high school, it was my second vehicle, but it was a 66 Chevrolet stepside C10, and it was blue. And my best friend had a 1970 C10 stepside, and we enjoyed just going, out to town, doing all that stuff. And that was like 1990, mid 90s. So it was, we had old vehicles at that time. Funny thing is this 85 is uh, older to me now than that truck was then. It's just funny, this truck's 40 years old, so it's hard to even believe, but it is. And the good thing about these, you can still get air conditioner and stuff. This one doesn't have it yet. It had it from the factory, but I'm going to try to put it all back on there. And it's got a pretty good little engine in it. It's a 350. It's got some horsepower and some Brodex heads and stuff like that. Got a good cam and makes about 360 horsepower based on the dyno numbers where we ran it on the dyno. It's got 375 foot-pounds of torque. So I've taken the truck down to drag strip a few times, and it's done okay. It's gotten in an eighth of a mile. I think it's 9.89 was my best run. It's got a really high geared rear end, so it's not as fast or not as quick off the line as I'd like it to be. Needs a stall converter. All of that will come. This is, like I said, poor man's hot rod, so it takes time to be on budget and get everything done. So again, I'm Jared, J-RodTV, home of the poor man's hot rod. I'm here to just answer questions and chat. If you got any questions about the old 85 behind me here that I've been working on for a while, or if you got something you just want to chat about, talk about. I even answer Bible questions. I'm actually a pastor full time, and would be glad to answer those questions as well. The Lord Jesus is my Savior, and I love Him, and He loves everybody and wants to give them salvation if they'll ask. And so, if you don't know Him, I'd love to tell you how, but you do need to seek Him out because He's worth it. It's the best decision you'll ever make. Let me know where you're watching from. Like either a U.S. city or or a state or country. I know last time I did a live, I had people from the UK and all sorts of stuff going on. So, and I know since it's a lot of you are off work tomorrow for the 4th because the Friday being the Friday before the 4th, y'all may get that off, and y'all may be on vacation. You may be just about anywhere. So let me know where you're at. I'm in North Mississippi, is where I'm from. Y'all watch any motorsports? Who's your favorite YouTubers? Drop a comment down there in the chat, and let's talk. Let's see what's going on. If you want to subscribe, I'd love for you to. Learn a little more about my channel. You can go over there and read my bio, see what it's all about, and see what's going on with this truck. I see there's several on there at the moment, so I'm gonna pick up the phone. We're gonna walk that way and look at the truck a little bit. So just hang in there with me. So I redid all of the grill and everything up front, put the clear patina paint job on it, cut and buffed it, did all of that stuff. Inside, redid all of it. No, the light's not that great. Maybe one of these days I can get those on YouTube and people can buy them from all over the place, but I hadn't figured out all the details yet. You know, if that messed up for me walking away, I apologize. But if you got any questions about any of that you see, let me know. Let me know what you're up to. This this truck, this 85 C10, it it came out of a junkyard. A guy worked there. It wasn't me, it was somebody else. A guy worked at this junkyard, and he asked his boss if he could, buy the truck out of the junkyard, and he did. And so I don't think it had an engine in it, or it was had a bad engine. Not sure, but he put a Oldsmobile engine in it at one time, from what I understand. He then he it when I bought it, it had a 305 in it, and and it was okay. I mean, it was fine, but it whoever had it, like I said, kind of pieced it together. The wiring was messed up. Just through the years, been kind of butchered up a little bit. So, so I had to kind of go through and like fix a bunch of the wiring and all that kind of stuff. And it was when I changed the engine out, the motor mounts were like welded in there instead of bolted. So I cut all that out and put the right stuff back in there like it was supposed to be. Um, Transmission went out on the truck, so put a different transmission in it. It's got just a 350 turbo, and built a 350 Fort. Um, so like I put the engine in there, and then the transmission went out. That was horrible. I didn't even get to hardly use it, um, any time at all before the transmission went out. And then, of course, I knew the transmission was kind of weak. That was just one of those things. And then when I built the engine, I had a flat tappet cam. Uh, Cam went bad just immediately, like on startup within the first, 10, 15 miles. Um, After the break in, one of the lifters never pumped up, and it ate that lifter, it got eaten up. And so then it had to come all back apart. And now it's got a roller cam in it and everything, but it works good now. It's been dynoed. I've put about 2,500 miles on it, gone, like I said, all over the place. Take it to car shows and stuff and hang out. So it's fun. It's a good time. What questions y'all got tonight? Y'all playing video games? Y'all hanging out at the beach? What y'all doing? Some of you watching me, which I appreciate. I really do. I guess some of my favorite YouTubers, of course, I watched a lot of Roadkill and all that back in the day before all of that went away. Started on YouTube, then got hooked up on it on Netflix for a while, and then I did the Motor Trend TV. Did that for a while, got rid of that, but did all of those things. And so Mike Finnegan, watch him, uh, FSM Garage, and then uh, David Freiberger, of course. Got to watching Tony Angelo, Lucky Costa, and all that bunch. So I follow all those guys, and then I follow guys like Vice Grip Garage. He's really come a long way. Does a lot of stuff. Enjoy him. Um, it's funny you get in these little areas where you watch certain people and then you kind of broaden out and you maybe watch something else for a while or whatever, or certain things don't interest you, you're more interested in something else, things like that, whatever it may be. So so what do y'all watch? Like I said a minute ago, these are the cup holders that I make and selling them locally. I hope to sell them online one of these days when I get big enough to do so. It mounts on the front of the seat. I showed a picture of that earlier and I'll show you one now. So it just mounts right there on the front of the seat, and it can go on the older square body or the newer square body frames. It just depends on how it will bolt. And if you want to sit in the middle, even after it's been put in, you can still sit in the middle. You can see that with somebody sitting there. I color matched mine for my seat that's in my truck. Um, so it, matches my tan seat and all that. So that's kind of cool. But y'all sitting in a dark corner scrolling tonight, doom scrolling. Is that how you found me? Tell me what your favorite car is or what car you drive. What are you into? I did a live back. Um, I did a live about, I guess it's been 2 months ago now. I've been on vacation, went to a convention, all that kind of stuff since then. But there was a guy from the UK that um, he loved trains, and so like he was all about trains. It's just what he was into, and so he would ask me if I knew anything about trains, but here in the US we have trains, but it's not like in other countries, it's not our major mode of transportation. It is more of a hauling stuff, and so I'll try to talk about whatever if y'all have any questions. What do you use the most? Do you use YouTube? Do you use Instagram? Do um, you use TikTok? The only thing I use is really YouTube, and I've got an Instagram for the YouTube channel. That's it. Of course, I've got Facebook and stuff, but that's all kind of private stuff. My wife and I share that stuff, but just one of those things. This is my it's my little bit of man cave stuff that I've got up here. I got some old signs and stuff and newer signs, old highway sign. Got a bunch of stuff over there on my toolbox. Like I said, or part of my toolbox anyway. Mhm. What's the biggest what's the biggest thing you ever did in your garage mechanically? Changing brakes, change a tire, change transmission, engine? What's the biggest thing you ever did? See, we got a few more on here now. Got 13 watching. I'm Jared. This is J-RodTV. It's the home of the poor man's hot rod. And I'm just hanging out, doing Q&A. Got any questions about the 85 C10 or anything else? I'm also a pastor and answer biblical questions, that kind of stuff. So, can y'all hear me okay? I'm using a mic. I just don't know how well it's working through the live. Somebody kind of let me know if it's working good, if you can hear without a lot of background noise. So, mic coming through okay? This whole YouTube thing I started uh, about 2.5 years ago. Well, not quite 2.5, but maybe 2 years, 4 months ago. So it's kind of a slow thing, but trying to get it to grow and do those things. I appreciate those that come in and sit and watch and ask questions and check out the YouTube channel. I've got 108 videos over there on the channel. You can go check them out. If you're one of my regular subscribers, let me know. I'd love to know that. Um, because it doesn't tell me whether or not you're subscribed or not. I'm just curious if I know I can see some people's names and I have people that make comments, but genuine would like to know a little bit more about you and get to know you. So if you're one of my subscribers and you want to drop it in there and say, hey, you know, that you're subscribed, and if you have a question for me, I'd love to hear love to hear your thoughts on my truck. If you've watched some of my content, seen what I've done, uh, you can fuss at me about the things I did wrong, or you can tell me, hey, that's cool, or you can ask a technical question and I can try to help you. My my two most dominant videos on my channel are the cam video that talks about the cam that's in there and you can hear it running and all that. And then there's one that breaks down how the vacuum system works on the heat and air under the dash and how it opens and closes all the doors to make the defrost work and all that. Those are two of like the most popular videos. Now, I mean, I've got other videos too, but that talk about more stuff. I'm kind of got a continuation of the video of the vacuum controls on the AC and the heat. That's coming pretty soon. Made a little adjustment to try to help out with some of that. When you got a cam, it cam doesn't make as much vacuum if it's a higher performance cam. And so the cam that's in this truck makes enough to work your brakes and all that, but it's like just enough. And so you want to have a little bit of a reservoir for that vacuum. Appreciate you guys that are tuning in and watching and helping me out. It gives me watch hours, and even though it's just a handful of you, I appreciate it. So yeah, bigger cam with a vacuum pump. Absolutely, I got you. So Ghost, I got you there. I thought about the bigger cam, but since I'm still trying to use those vacuum controls and the booster brakes, all that kind of stuff. But it's got a decent cam. You ought to go watch that video. Like I said, it makes decent power. It's not crazy power. It's a 350. Got Brodex heads. It's a I can't remember the cam number right off the top of my head. I can look it up real quick. So the let me go look at the video and I can tell you which one it is. It's a melling cam. It's a roller, retro roller fit. Um, yeah, it's a melling MC22136. So MC22136. Also, truck's got a lowering kit on it. It's a Magahe's um, part number 33149. That's all in that first video I ever made. So appreciate the thumbs up and everything, Ghost. I appreciate that. Go check out, like I said, some of the other video content. It's a lot of stuff in there. Like I said, it's the Brodex heads. It makes 360 on the dyno, just on the engine dyno, and 375 torque. It could probably make a little bit more if it had a 1-inch plate, different carb, that kind of stuff. So it's just one of those things. So, Ghost, have you ever seen any of my stuff, or is this kind of new to you? I've got I've got all sorts of things where I redid the inside completely and did the exterior transformation with the patina and everything. So first time, cool. I appreciate you tuning in. Um, what kind of vehicle you got? You got anything hot rod or anything sporty, or the one that got away, as some would say? I appreciate it. Yeah, I typically don't do lives. I just did it to try to get some exposure, and just talk about the truck some. So if there's any questions, love to have it. You race dirt modified. So what part of the world you in? I'm in North Mississippi, and when I was in high school, okay, Oregon, cool. When I was in high school, and college, the junior college, worked at an engine shop, and there was a lot of dirt track, limited late models, modifieds, and all that kind of stuff. All dirt, and you'd had anything from your 4 cylinder to the sure enough, outlaw type cars that were running, and built a ton of engines back in those days. Of course, I was just a grunt in the engine shop. I was I was the one tearing down engines and heads and putting heads back together after they'd been machined and that kind of stuff. And so I built way back then. I built a 327 for a car I had years ago, and my dad used to run dirt track stuff, and he always told me, he said, if you want to do that, you might as well just dig a hole in the ground and pour money into it because it'd be about the same. It's not like you're gonna make any money. I mean, unless you're really good, you don't make a ton of money racing, but it's a lot of fun. So it's just one of those things. I'm more of a drag guy. I like the drag racing stuff. Just always have. I like that. Get off the line and get down the track. Of course, these old trucks are not made for dirt track or anything like that. But I have taken it around a road course one time. It was pretty hilarious because these front ends are not made for that by any means. Yeah, started in mini stock. That's cool. Yeah. So you did it. You did it at a young age, then getting going. So yeah, I guess the craziest thing I saw at the track or was a part of, we built a 305 for, it was like the stock class. And I mean I can't remember all the rules, but it was more than stock, but it was stock. And we built, because it was engine shop, we really like did a test engine. Can we make a 305 make enough power to do something, and and in that race, I mean, it raced a good bit, but in the middle of that race, um the whole engine broke, like the crank broke, and the whole front of the engine came out on the track. So laying on the track was half of the crankshaft and main cap still attached and part of the block. It was the craziest thing, the craziest thing I ever saw. So, but we saw a lot of crazy stuff. There was a bunch of guys that did the mud drag, like 4-wheel drive trucks too, and we built some crazy engines for that. We're talking well over 1,000 horsepower engines, big block roller engines that were crazy, had power glides, and they were nuts. Had low gears, some pretty cool stuff. But built a lot of engines for those folks, and those were the good old days, as they say. But appreciate those that are subscribed. Means a lot. Trying to get to that 250 mark. I mean, I'm trying to get to a 500 mark eventually, so I can maybe try to sell some things and kind of interact a little differently. Not that I'm doing all of this for um, for money, but it would be nice to kind of build the community a little bit. And if I could get a little side cash to put back into the truck or into the projects, poor man's hot rod is my motto, and so everything I do is on a budget. I have I budget just a little bit of money each month to kind of go towards the truck. So it may take me several months to save up for something. Right now, sitting on the floor behind me here, I've got all the front end parts to rebuild all of the front end of the truck. The ball joints and all the bushings and all that kind of stuff, because that stuff's 40 years old. Um, I've already redid the brakes and all that in the back and in the front too, but did the lowering kit and little stuff along. I'm going to put a eventually build a transmission for it. I'll build rear end for it that's lower geared, that can be a little more fun, and just keep working on it. Add air conditioner hopefully one of these days, and make it worthwhile. So on these hot summer nights, I tell you, in Mississippi, it's heat index has been about 105, been in the upper 90s most of the week. So you can see I've got this around my neck because I'm out here. It's not a 9 something at night, 9:45, and it's burning up hot. It's just one of those things. So Ghost, if you're still there, what engines are y'all running? You running small blocks? Are you running LSs or Fords or Dodges, or what you running? Those that may have hopped on, this is J-Rod with J-RodTV. I'm Jared, and that's my 85 C10. It's the home of the poor man's hot rod. Been working on that truck for a long time. Everything I do is on a budget. Everything I do is out here in this open carport or in the driveway, and so I just work on all these things. Thought I'd hop on, do a Q&A if anybody had any questions about the vehicle or just wanted to chat about their vehicle or chat about what's going on in life. I'm also a pastor, full time. That's what I do for a living. And I do that because God called me, and I love the Lord Jesus Christ, and He's awesome. And so I serve Him, and I do this as a hobby. And so I'll answer Bible questions if you have a Bible question for me tonight, if I can, anyway. See, we got a couple of people on. I'll say hi. I don't know if you've said hi or if you've put anything in the chat, but glad that you're here. Glad you're hanging out with me, getting some watch time in. Uh, it helps the channel out, and every comment and every chat helps, and every little bit of exposure. I know we haven't had a ton on tonight. We've had different amounts, but uh, love spending time with folks if they want to chat. You want to like and subscribe? I'd appreciate it. Small channels need all the viewership they can get, to try to get to where they can be noticed. And according to my analytics, it says that Thursday nights at 9 o'clock is the best time to do this. So that's what I did tonight, and just trying to check out and see who's around and what's going on. So digging truck, digging the truck. Appreciate it, man. My so you got Southern Square Bodies. That's awesome. I appreciate you tuning in and checking it out. I want to show you. This is a custom cup holder that I'm building for Square Bodies now, and got a couple of pictures. I'll show you how it mounts if you're interested, and hopefully I can sell them eventually online. It mounts on the front of the seat, right there in the middle. It's not in the way of your legs if you're trying to sit. If you're trying to sit in the middle, it bolts to the bottom of the seat, and it fits both the and later and newer, and it bolts like this. So I am in North Mississippi, is where I'm from. Where you at, Southern Square Body? I've got one in this. I got one of the in this truck, and it's color matched to my seat and all of that. So got a lot of those things going on. South Carolina near the North Carolina line. I hear you. So what kind of vehicle you got, Southern Square Body? I've had different vehicles through the years myself. I got a whole video about my gearhead origin story. I've had a '66 Chevrolet stepside C10, and I've had, uh, 75 Dodge. It was a long wheelbase. That was my first vehicle. I've had a '46 Ford that I was trying to work on and ended up trading it off. I had a '29 Dodge Brothers Coupe that I was accumulating parts, and then life got in the way. Got married and kids, and had to sell it. And I've had a V8 swapped S10 Blazer. That was pretty cool little truck. I mean, it looked like factory, the way it looked like it came that way. That was pretty cool. So, so you got a 71 C10, 82 C10. Oh, sweet. Got a Chevelle Nova, Monte Carlo. Sweet. An 88 OBS, 96 Tahoe, two door. Cool. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'd love to have lots of those things. My favorites, if I could like pick, I'd want a 68 to 72 Chevelle. That's one of my favorite. And then 70 Dodge Challenger, but that's kind of out of reach, long way out of reach. Of course, the Chevelle is too. But so I get something that I can do. You know, my mantra here on my channel is the home of the poor man's hot rod. So I always tell people to use what they've got, fix what they've got. And so that's what I'm doing on these things. And oh, you got a 3+3 square too. That's awesome. Yeah, so you in it deep then, I would say. You're in there. So but one of the great things about squares, as you know, is you can still get some parts for them, and they make a lot of aftermarket stuff now that um, that you can really make them really good. You know, a lot of people LS swap and all that. That computer stuff's a little bit out of my realm, so I went back with the 350. It's got Brodex heads, a pretty decent cam, makes 360 horse and 375 torque. On the engine dyno, had that done. Um, it's got the rear end still really high, which is good when you're out on the highway. Um, I appreciate it, Southern Square Body. Appreciate it very much that you subbed. And tell your friends I'd love to get a little, a little more exposure, and hopefully one of these days I'll be able to sell these cup holders to folks. I think people would like them. I'm trying to. I never did really like the ones that go in the ashtrays, but I think mine, where it fits, it's out of the way. It's sturdy. It'll hold whatever cup you need. It works really well. The only downside is you have to take the seat out to install it, but that's it. No big deal. You do the LS stuff and do the swaps, the rear end upgrades. Yeah, I want to. On this one, I've got a 700R4 over here that needs to be rebuilt that I got from somebody, and that's the plan. Put a 700R4 in it with I'd love 373 gears, maybe even 410s. Just kind of depends on where the RPM hits. Because I like to go straight drag race. I've taken this one, and even with the engine and it's got like a 273 gear in it and a 350 turbo trans. It in an eighth, it runs 989, and it's a peg leg. It doesn't have positive traction. I'm sure if I had posi, it would be even better because every time I try to take off, it just spins. So, but the LS engine, if I was going to drive one every day, like as my daily, I can see doing the LS, doing cruise control, doing all of it because it would sure make a difference. Yeah, one tire fire for sure. Absolutely. If you know how the peg legs are, that sometimes they'll lock and they'll actually go, and if I can get it to go, it runs pretty decent, but most time I've got video, you can go check it out on the channel of me going down the track, and it'll spin and it'll do crazy stuff, but it's getting a little bit better. I'm just working on it slowly. It needs a stall, it needs lots of stuff, but like I said, poor man's hot rod. You got to do it on a budget. So everything I do about two big projects a year. I save up my money and do a couple. As a pastor, you know, um, don't make a ton of money. That's fine. Church takes good care of me. Don't get me wrong, but we don't make a ton of money, so I save, and whatever I can do, I do. Like redoing the inside, redid the outside best I could with the vice grip garage gloss clear, 1776 clear, and it worked pretty good. we sprayed it right out here in the driveway. So, you know. Yeah, I hear you. You work on other people's stuff. I get it. Yeah, I don't have time to work on other people's stuff, so that's the problem. I barely have time to work on my stuff, you know, between my church work and all of my you know, cutting grass and taking care of my family and whatnot. So hopefully, if I can sell some of these cup holders, like I said, and if I get to a point, you know, and can monetize a little bit, I tried out some of the Amazon affiliate link stuff. So if people want to buy some of the items that I've used on this truck, maybe I can get some commission or whatever. Maybe I can earn enough to put a few dollars in the truck, you know, something like that. So either way, it'll all go back in the truck and take care of moving on down the road. Part of the reason I do the YouTube stuff, I don't know if you do it. You've got so many things, but you ought to you ought to check it out or do YouTube if you're not, because for sure, I guarantee you could make some money with all the projects you're doing. Oh yeah, you're kind of where I'm at. You're at about 200 subscribers, trying to do some stuff. I'm looking at your page right now, man. So that's some cool stuff. Carbureted, yeah. Looks like you got a lift too. Pretty sweet. You know, there's that C10 in the valley and all that. We've got a C10 show that comes to Tupelo, Mississippi, which is close to where I am. It's called Trucking the Trace, and they do, and we got C10 stuff galore. There's probably 400, 400 or 500 trucks that come in from all over, and so it's a good little show if you want to, you know, drive one that far, but that's a long way for you. But I plan on it comes in November, and so my plan is to build. I've got two right now that are I've sold several, but I've only got two right now currently that I've got built, the cup holders. But I'm going to build some more and take them with me because it's an expense. I mean, you know, I got to build them, and then so I'm out all that money until I can, you know, sell them. So so that's the way that goes. But yeah, being a vendor at one of those shows would help, but I'd have to have a pretty good bit of inventory, and if it didn't sell, then I'd be in a mess. So, but like I said, on a budget. Yeah, I subbed you too, man. I'll check out your channel later on. So you got a lift. Looks like it. Looking at your channel, I bet that makes life a lot easier. And you evidently you got a shop too, so you got a bunch of shorts. Yeah, I see that. Got two lifts. You live in the big time then. Got them before COVID. I hear you. Yeah, everything went up after COVID. I think everybody got a little COVID money, and I bought my wheels and tires for this truck back in that day. Again, budget. So that's what I did. Of course, like I said, everything I do is right out here in this open carport and in the driveway. So a lift would do me no good because I have no shop. So I have a place for a shop, just can't afford it. I said my goal is just I would love to be in a place like you are where you could, do a lot of stuff. but at the same time, I want to encourage those that are like me that don't have a ton, and but they can still have a lot of fun with a truck, whether it's an OBS or square body or even something newer than that. I mean, even S10s, man, you can have a lot of fun and with an S10, if you can find one, put a V8 in it. So you know, just encourage people that you can still do a lot, even if you don't have a big shop with tons of tools. You can get a lot done, and that's kind of what I show folks on my channel. At least that's my goal. And I try to share my faith, like I said, because I am a pastor, and let people know, that Jesus loves them and that He's the way to salvation. So I share all those things too in the process. Yeah, working in the grass before the shop and lifts. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, or on gravel, which is the worst. Don't work on gravel unless you got cardboard on to lay on. So that makes a difference. Absolutely. But I do, I learned to, if you've got a little bit of concrete, make sure you get a good jack and good jack stands. Um, get the tall ones. I even got some blocks I got from a guy that's like a drive on, but they're homemade. They're made out of 2x6s or 2x8s, and they're heavy as all get out. But man, I can put that truck in the air with my good jack stands and those blocks, and I can get under it and do stuff. That's what I did when I changed the transmission and stuff. And I do have some friends, that have like trans jacks and things that I can borrow. And I've got some things I can do. My father-in-law is a motorcycle mechanic. He's got some tools that I don't have. Sometimes I can borrow and use. Yeah, I thought about building some wheel cribs. I've got some lumber I could. I looked at them, and it's the bad thing is 2x4s are so high, and I'm one of those guys that I know I would use them. Um, but the problem is like I don't want to spend, 60 or $70 on 2x4s when I could put 60 or $70 into the truck. It's like I just put a new seat in it and I saved for it for like a year to put a new seat in it. And it's not you probably know what a Snowden is. You probably got them up there, but it's made a lot like a Snowden. It's really cool. And there's a guy in Russellville, Alabama that does it. I've got a video that's going to come out on that in a couple of weeks. So, um, does a really good job for a reasonable price and do embroidery and stuff. I picked out all my fabrics. It's really cool. So it's about, I wouldn't say a third of the price of a Snowden, but it was less than half of a Snowden. It was it was not. It's worth it. The seat is. So it was about a hour and a half drive from where I am, but they did a good job. Yeah, it's a '85 custom deluxe. Yep, it came out of a junkyard. Guy used to work in a junkyard. This was the story I got anyway, because I met the junkyard owner. He was the one that told me. He saw it at a car show and he said, "Yeah, I know this truck." He said, "It came out of a junkyard. His employee wanted it, bought it, and then painted it this orange color. And originally it was like silver, and and then had maroon interior. And so then he painted it that orange color, I don't know, a long time ago, butchered the wiring up, put like an Oldsmobile engine in it at one time, and I think it had a 350 Olds in it at one time, and then he kind of hacked and welded in some motor mounts and put a 305 in it, and had different wheels and whatnot. So when I got it, it was just a basket case. It was no dash, no nothing, and so I've kind of pieced it all back. Yeah, 350 rocket, and um, and so I put straight cleaned up the wiring. They had put an electric fuel pump on it and cut the sending unit wire for the gas tank. So I fixed all that stuff and found found all the gauge wiring, fixed it, put gauges in it, so all the gauges work now. Everything's back together, and and then built the engine for it. Cam 350, and then like I said, the 350 turbo, and redid the brakes and lowered it and all that kind of stuff since I've owned it. So done a lot to it. Redid all of the interior, painted it orange on the inside. Um, and somebody had like spray painted all over the truck too. So I water sanded all that off and then did the clear patina on top. So that's what I did with it. I appreciate you hanging out, Southern Square Body. I really do. When I started, there was only a couple of people, not many people wanted to talk. So I appreciate you talking. What color's your 82? So I know which one I'm looking at. Is that the orange and white one? Yeah. Yeah. Orange and white one. Yeah. I knew a guy that did that, that, that made those changes too. Um, you know, there was a guy, it was actually a guy that had a 70, I think it was a 76, and he scabbed, like a 91 front clip on the whole thing. And, like from a Blazer or something like that, or a Suburban. And, and it was weird because, those like 76s have the louvers in the back, it doesn't have a cowl, like the 85s and so forth do. And so he had some trouble like getting it all together. But with yours being an 82 and mine being an 85, it would, uh, a lot of that would change. Mine's got the, single headlight, and then just the blinker light, marker light down here, marker on the side. Which these trucks, depending on which trim level, you could get the dual headlights and all that, but you know, just one of those things. Yeah, yeah. Silverado had duals, and mine's just got manual windows, roll down windows, which I like better than the power, because the power windows on these trucks were horrible. Um, my mom had one of these trucks. My granddad did, and my mom ended up driving it later. But those power windows were terrible. I know they make better stuff now. You know, I did put like all new rubber and stuff around my doors. I'm gonna walk over here to the truck and show you the inside if I can. The connection may lose. I hope not. Let's see what happens. We'll get over here, see if it gets weak. Looks like it's hanging in there. So this is the inside. Redid all of it. I know it's kind of dim in here. Didn't even have a dome light. It had a door buzzer, and I swapped the door buzzer out and made it the dome light to operate the dome light, because it's just wiring. And I kind of looked up all that stuff and fed through. I think it's a seatbelt buzzer or door buzzer one on the custom deluxe on one door. And so since the button was there and the wiring was there, I just scabbed it and put and hooked my dome light up. So because somebody had added that dome light later. Yeah, appreciate it, Southern Square Body. That the inside I thought looks really good. I've got, if you go and look at my channel, I've got like a before and after of the inside, and you can see had a little rust in the passenger side floorboard, replaced it. And other than that, I mean, the truck on the outside is fairly rough, but I mean, dents and dings and stuff, but there is no rust. Other than like surface rust and stuff. And I replaced that one area. So yeah, driver's door buzzer. Yeah. I couldn't remember. Like I read on some vlogs and stuff that it was either driver door buzzer or it was a seatbelt buzzer, and I didn't know. So now those the custom deluxe only had the light under the dash. That one was added, and before I got it, and then I wired it so it would do that. And I don't know if you've changed them. Are you using like Dakota Digital gauges or anything like that? Or are you using like stock gauges? I guess with your LS stuff, you're probably using aftermarket gauges. If you're not, you can buy the LED bulbs and put them um, in the stock instrument cluster, and it works really well. Says got the one. I don't guess I understand what you mean by that. Touch screen. Got you. I understand what you're saying now. So you're using like the sniper where it's got the little square touch screen or the larger screen. Yeah, I guess on the LS, especially like if you're doing carbureted or fuel injection, either one, it's you still need that for all your gauge stuff. Yeah, the larger one, and so it just fits in your dash. That's cool. Yeah, 12.1 inch. I got you. Yeah, yeah, big enough to see when you're driving down the road. Absolutely. I'd love to like have the Dakota Digital and stuff like that because I like the old style gauge. Of course, I know you can program those screens to do whatever you want, but you can put whatever tacks and whatnot. I've just got a small 2 inch tack right on the column, so when I put it in gear, the tack rolls up dead in the center, doesn't block any of my gauges. I did go ahead and put a small manual oil pressure gauge down here by your hood light or release because just like to see that you got oil pressure, make sure it's good. Custom bezel, yeah. I knew they make them. Well, man, it's been great talking to you, but I've been on quite a while, so I guess I'm gonna get off. My son came home to visit for 4th of July. He lives out of town, so I'm going to go in the house and visit with him. But hope to talk to you again, man. I appreciate the sub, and leave some comments on some of the other videos if you check it out, and I'll check out some of your stuff too. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good night. God bless.